And it's Kraetzer for Cam. That's me. We cover cadets, midshipmen, veterans, military, proudly since 2008. On the day that Iona College unveiled a banner recognizing their legendary coach of the 1970s, Jim Valvano, coach who helped put Iona on the basketball map with big wins, especially the win at Madison Square Garden in 1980 versus Louisville, and then a run in the NCAA tournament with a win and a final loss to Georgetown. Of course, Coach Valvano went on to win the national title in 1983 at North Carolina State and is known for his work, as John Feinstein said, a mission that found him for cancer research, and the speech that will never be forgotten on ESPN, talking about his fight against cancer and the need to continue the fight. And now, as I said, hundreds of millions of dollars have been raised by the V Foundation for Cancer Research. We certainly encourage you to consider that as a charity. But today, Iona lost on a buzzer beater to Niagara, 75-73. Iona had taken a lead with 6 seconds to go in the game, and that was 73-72. And they pressed, and ball came out to Braxton Bayless, the Niagara guard, who pumped in a 35-foot shot running. It was like a playground shot. I asked him if he had ever practiced that, and he said no. But he finished with 22, but none more important than that last second three. He was 2 of 2 on threes, 5 of 9 shooting. Coming off the bench for Niagara, and 6 rebounds. Fine day for Braxton Bayless. Also for Niagara, Yaw Obeng Mensah had 11 points and 14 for Ahmad Henderson II, and Queen Marble had 10. Game of streaks in the second half. Iona came out strong, then took the lead. Then Niagara came out, took the lead. Actually had a 17-point run, and then Iona answered really with Greg King and Aiden Treetow jamming the lane, going for inside shots. Iona had 48 points in the paint today. Really an off-day shooting. Just for Iona, 5 of 19 on three-pointers, 31 of 62 on the day. Iona shot field goal percentage of 50%, which is pretty good, 31-62. But a lot of that's because they went to the inside shots. They kind of did not take many threes down the stretch of the game. Niagara shot 49% on the game, 24 of 49. So a disappointing home loss to Iona. They dropped to 6-9, 1-3 in the MAC conference, and as Coach Obin Anderson said, he felt especially disappointed to lose on the day that Jim Valvano's banner was raised to the rafters of the Heinz Center. But it came down to a final shot, final play, and Niagara made it. Iona may have had some chances to stop and slow down that 17-point run midway through the second half. And Iona pressed throughout, and that was helpful. Iona had 17 steals to 3 for Niagara, but Niagara out-rebounded Iona 41-24. So that's an area of rebounding. Best performance, Aiden Treetow had 5 rebounds, as did John Aragaran, the guard. So something that Iona's not as strong on afterwards. Coach Anderson said, they're just not a good half-court team right now, but you got to rely on defense and putting full-court press on opponents. So they'll get set. They'll have be back here next Sunday, and Coach Anderson said he wished he had another game right away to play after a loss. But he said the only answer is to work harder. There's no other answer, as Coach Tobin Answer said, as remedy to today's loss to Niagara. So that's our report. On the day they honored Jim Valvano, I remember seeing Coach Valvano here at Iona. I went to a game, I believe it was the fall of like Thanksgiving of 1978, and saw him play. I believe it was St. Lawrence. And then I went with my friend Scott McLeod, who was a class of 80 grad of Iona from Pelham, as I was. We went together to the win over Louisville at Madison Square Garden, when Louisville was nationally rated #1 in the country and would go on to win the national championship. But on that night, Iona prevailed and dominated that effort. And it was a game that anyone who was there will always remember. It makes you love college basketball forever, being a part of a game like that. And all orchestrated by the leadership of Jim Valvano. If you read John Feinstein's book, The Legends, about the 3 North Carolina basketball coach, and with Jim Valvano, Dean Smith, and Coach K, he describes what a great speaker Coach Valvano was, that he could just take over a microphone for an event and keep going and do it almost like a nightclub act. In fact, it was said that he really wanted to be the host of The Tonight Show. And then sadly, cancer took his life, and he was known for his famous speech on ESPN saying, "You can't give up, you got to keep fighting." And that's how we all are in the fight against cancer. And the B Foundation is a wonderful charity for you to consider, or even having an event to raise money for the B Foundation. A lot of summer golf tournaments and other events that support this a very important charity. They have raised hundreds of millions of dollars for cancer research. So 75-73 Niagara defeats Iona at the Heinz Center. This is Ken Kraetzer for CAM Vets Media. We cover cadets, midshipmen, veterans, and the military proudly since 2008. We recognize our sponsors, the New York Yankees, getting set for their season. We're just at the Pinstripe Bowl. And also the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which provides scholarships to and mentoring to children and families of fallen members of the Special Operations military community. They also take care of families of Medal of Honor recipients. So a wonderful charity. We talk to them periodically, and always want to highlight another great charity to consider. So from New Rochelle, this is Ken Kraetzer for CAM Vets Media.